Eerie, isn't it? Like some unexplored lunar landscape. Can that man on the moon really have such rugged features? Here's the only monster you're likely to see in this science fiction setting, and already the illusion has been bulldozed aside. Our journey into space has come just as far as Cornwall, where the vast china clay pits at Austell are man-made and robot-controlled. The experts call this process winning the clay. But what victory has ever been such a complete wash-up? Rivers of clay become lifelines of industry, not just for pottery, which takes only a quarter of the total production, but rubber, paint, plastics and textile manufacturers demand this white ingredient. Night and day, the huge dewatering tanks, rotating like giant butter churns, slowly extract the clay. Then, and only then, do the dried particles filter through to emerge as white powder. Just powder, but to a hungry industrial world, it's white gold.
The key design issues for Crynys Beach are obviously the view, the sun, the weather, the rain, the wind, the Cornish weather in all its glory and variety. And then I looked at the character and the materials and the style of buildings in Cornwall. Their simple honesty, the granite and timber and render and paint and slate. And then I looked at the villages and harbours that form these wonderful coastal opportunities here. So I took all of these things, all of these very Cornish qualities, and I used them to create this modern, sustainable resort, all year round resort that we're going to put on the beach here. Let's start at the front. We obviously keep the beach, and all of the beach is here. And then we have a promenade. Behind the new sea defences, we have a promenade. And this is 3/4 of a kilometre of promenade, which you can walk along, and there are incidents and events. And behind that promenade, we start with low-level buildings. Low-level buildings because that's the nature of the Cornish coastline. The buildings are not tall, slap bang on the water. And the buildings climb visually up to the cliffs. The roofscape is an incredibly important elevation, and we've done something very interesting with environmental, different types of sedums and grasses and materials to make an ever-changing roofscape. I wanted it to have all the qualities that we love of Cornwall, and I wanted to add the things that we would like it to have as well, to make a place that people can come all year round. They can come to live here, they can come and play, they can amble on the beach, they can sunbathe, they can hide from the wind and the rain when they need to. But always they come to look at the view and to marvel at the sun dancing on the water.
One of the biggest problems we've got as a county and as a business is that we have virtually zero energy security. All our power comes from up country, and we're not in a position to be able to protect ourselves from the energy crunch. When that happens, Cornwall prices will go through the roof, and there's also a threat that the lights might go out. So we need renewable forms of energy in order to protect ourselves from that risk.
The country and the government are slowly realising the opportunity that geothermal provides to make our way towards the targets that have been set for 2020. The reality of geothermal power is that it leaves little footprint at the surface.
Eden's an environmental educational charity, and one of the things we've always wanted to do is be 100% powered by renewable energy, and that's a difficult target, but we've looked at large-scale wind, we've looked at large-scale solar, and now we're looking at deep geothermal energy. As is always the case with long-term projects, we've built up a really good friendship and a working relationship with EGS Energy. They're good fun, but they also know exactly what they're talking about, and we're absolutely satisfied that they've got both the technical expertise and also the business acumen to pull this off.
We're standing looking at the area where we're going to be putting in place the first geothermal plant here in the UK. We will be levelling the site and putting in place a drilling rig and drilling a well down to 4,500 metres, and we're going to be pumping in water to the rock to establish a heat reservoir. That's a heat exchanger. At that depth we'll drill a second well and bring that water up heated and pass that through a binary turbine. We're able to generate electricity from that, but at the same time we'll also have another heat exchanger in order to provide heat to the Eden project for their buy-ins.
The background to the project really, it goes back a long way, and really the whole purpose of it is to improve road links into St Austell to encourage business growth. Off the back of this project there's various other stuff going on, not directly related to our works, but we've got EcoBoss doing some housing developments in the area. There's also a technology park that joins this site, and that really links into this project. It's part of Cornwall Council strategy really to sort of develop the infrastructure, build jobs and create new homes. So our part in it's quite an important part. It's really the first stepping stone. On your left there you've got the Great Treverman Sky Tip. That's a local landmark, and we're having to safeguard that as we do the construction process. So while we were doing the blasting to create the cutting we're now driving through, we had to put vibration monitoring out to ensure that we didn't cause any subsidence on the slopes. And to date, everything seems to be okay with that one. This whole site sits on land formerly used by the China clay industry. So it's largely a brownfield site, which means that, you know, in terms of sustainability and environmentalism, we're doing pretty high on those stakes with this job. We just arrived in the area of one of the footbridges. This is the Carludden Bridge. So we'll just nip out and have a look at the works up there. Here is the Carludden Bridge. Effectively, it's going to be a concrete arch. It's a wasted arch, so it sort of narrows as it gets towards the centre. Once the arch is done, we're going to build up the soil on top of it and plant it with trees. So it'll be effectively a green bridge. In terms of approaching it, it'll look like a tunnel effect going through it, and it'll have trees growing on both sides and up over the top. It's a footbridge, but it's also for use as a bridleway. So it'll take up to and including equestrian users. It's all part of the whole improvement of the non-pedestrian routes from Penwithwick and the area of the proposed technology park down through the site. This crosses the road line here, of course, and it'll link in at the bottom with the clay trails, which can take you to the Eden project and out across the China clay area.